Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. So, a few days ago, I made a video about the cards I'm going to miss the most that are going to be exiting the standard format into Wild when the next expansion comes out, and a lot of people recommended that I do the video of cards I'd miss the least because I talked about how absolutely ridiculous and broken they are in the, well, maybe not the current state of the game, but the current state of the game / the game as it was for the majority of the last year or so in Standard. So, off with the list. Number 5 on my top 5 is actually probably quite a controversial one. It's Reno Jackson. Now, when Reno Jackson came out, it was one of the coolest cards ever. Like, wow, this is really awesome. You know, it's kind of like that new expansion vibe, and Reno Jackson certainly had that vibe, and it's just really cool and satisfying to beat aggro decks, but the type of decks and the gameplay that's promoted from this card is just really stupid. So, as if aggressive decks didn't have an easy and brainless enough time playing ladder and crushing their opponents, when playing against a Reno deck, because your opponent only has one of each card, sometimes in the very few scenarios where as an aggro deck you might have decisions, against a Reno control deck you just have none, because the chance of them having that exact answer to punish you is cut in half because they can't have any duplicates. So that's kind of dumb. I really don't like the type of gameplay that promotes not playing around anything, and if anyone knows a lot about that, it's your resident Arena expert Krip. And yeah, Arena has been a lot of that in the past, and it's just kind of dumb. It just promotes dumb gameplay and low strategy gameplay, and that's why I don't really like Reno Jackson. Even though it's all fun to crush aggro decks, it just would have been, you know, better if they're just decent healing in the game. Blizzard, please. Still, like, in Un'Goro, we still got, like, none of that. Another card I really hate, kind of on a similar tone, is Sir Finlay. Again, maybe a bit of a controversial one. I know it's a pretty cool card in a combo deck. I know it's a pretty cool card in, like, you know, some of the control decks, but, you know, very few. Generally, what the card is used for is making every single class that isn't Hunter into Hunter. And yes, I know we haven't seen any Hunters lately, but do you guys really miss the Hunter hero power? Is that one of the things you want to live every single game? The Hunter hero power is really oppressive because even though you might choose to play like a control archetype, basically a Hunter decides that you won't be playing a control archetype. You'll just be playing a please let me just survive and have my opponent run out of cards and not top deck anything crazy in the very last moments of the game. That gameplay is really stupid, and I very much hate this card. I think if it wasn't for Sir Finlay, a lot of the aggro decks that obviously weren't Hunter would be quite a lot more manageable. But, of course, yes, that's not quite the case. Another card I think is really destructive for the game, but again, decent amount of fun if you are the one slinging it. It is Entombed. So Entombed is kind of cool because it gave Priest like a transform removal that didn't cost 10 mana, and really I'm kind of all for that. It's just that, you know, in the nature and the meta that we experienced over the last few years in Hearthstone, where, you know, it's basically aggro decks, and very, very rarely there's like one or two good control decks, and they're generally regarded as control decks because it's like 90% anti-aggro, 10% big minions. Well, 10% big minions basically means you have like 3. So when you're playing against the Priest and they don't actually have many big minions of their own, and they take 2 out of your 3 big minions and not only remove them but put them in their deck, well, that's just kind of stupid as hell, isn't it? So, yeah, I kind of like the deck manipulation stuff a little bit, but I think it needs to be done very carefully, and Entomb was a little bit much. It wasn't really a big deal because Priest wasn't being played. It's like, yeah, what's Entomb? But, you know, suddenly people started playing some Priest decks, and every single time you see this card hit the board, you just want to pull your hair out. And someone like me who's played a lot of Hearthstone, I don't have that much hair left, so I'm very happy this card is getting the hell out of the standard format. Now the card here, again, doesn't have too much of an impact in the current meta, but I think it absolutely needs to be mentioned. It is Quickshot. Holy crap, dude. Quickshot is really just a really, really stupid card. You know, we have like Frostbolt, we have like Dark Bomb, we have all these, you know, 3 damage, 2 mana removal cards that are basically Quickshot without any effect, or without the card draw at least. And those are being played in almost every instance that people can play them. And we have Quickshot, which is kind of like card draw because most Hunter decks are defined by being aggressive, and aggro decks are defined by running out of cards. And Quickshot is just that card that gives aggro, which generally loses when they go to top deck mode, the most savage and soul-crushing way to win against you. So, you know, you might be like, oh, 12 life. what the hell can happen, right? And then it can happen. It can actually happen. If they have, like, you know, any kind of beast, it could be like Quickshot, kill command. And you're dead, right? So there's some really, really painful things that you experience because this card exists. And yes, I know Hunter is like not doing too well and all that, but that's kind of an issue with the fundamental nature of aggro decks. All aggro decks attempt to do the same thing, and aggro against aggro is usually given to the faster aggro deck. So, you know, just pushing an aggro format in Hearthstone is just one of the worst overall design decisions we've ever seen. And the reason is that it's kind of just cannibalizing itself. And that's why we don't see Hunter, but, you know, eventually Hunter's going to see some play again, and then you're going to see this whole thing again with aggro decks. And yeah, I just hope aggro decks don't have ridiculous top deck potential answers like Quickshot. Let them run out of cards and lose a few games, please. And at the very top, the card I am most satisfied that is leaving the standard format. Oh, I can't wait. It is Jade Idol. Oh, fuck. It's another year of Jade Idol? Yeah. This card is really bad. This is kind of like the special mention category now. This card basically completely kills fatigue, and unless it's extremely meta, completely kills control decks, especially ones that don't have like a tempo or combo aspect to them. So yeah, this card alone makes Jade's really, really ridiculous, and I actually thought I'd come up with a card I would hope to see in Un'Goro. It is a pretty good card. Let me know what you guys think. I think whenever they have a really problematic card that they can't nerf because they haven't sold enough packs of that expansion yet, really the main answer is to come up with cards that have a battlecry effect that disenchant all of the copies from their collection. And yes, this means even if they're not playing the deck. So, you know, if you put this card in your deck and your opponent is playing, oh, let's just say Pirate Warrior, you will be disenchanting all of his Jade Idols when you play it. And, you know, even though you might not win that game, you're going to feel really good to know that he won't be able to play Jade Druid later on. And that's just a really satisfying feeling. I think this card goes very well with Blizzard's mentality of getting as much money as possible from each expansion, because it'll constantly destroy your opponent's deck ineffectively, so they'll have to keep spending money to play Jade Druid if they want to play Jade Druid. And judging by the expansion that's coming up here with a lot of control aspects, probably a lot of people are going to want to play Jade Druid. So think about it, Blizzard. You know, you might need a new headquarters. Maybe it's time to print this card. Seriously, though, the card I am absolutely ecstatic that is no longer going to be in the standard format is Tunnel Trog. I think Tunnel Trog is possibly the most broken one-drop that we've ever seen. And yes, I'm even comparing it to shit like Patches, shit like Small Time Buccaneer. Tunnel Trog is just like, you know, your opponent plays Tunnel Trog, and you're like, oh, I'm playing a control deck. I'm going second. He played Tunnel Trog. I'm going to lose within the next, like, 2 turns if I don't do anything right now. So I have to coin a Doomsayer. And then, you know, sometimes that doesn't even do it. But when it does, you know, just think about how just stupid this card is. When you coin a Doomsayer to kill a Tunnel Trog, you actually feel pretty good about that. Is that unbelievable or what? I mean, just think about any other one-drop in the whole game where you'd coin a Doomsayer against and actually be satisfied with the result of trading your coin and a Doomsayer for just a card, right? Tunnel Trog is that card that, you know, if you don't deal with it at the end of the game, you know, becomes like a 6 and 7 attack monstrosity, right? It's just absolutely unfair, let alone the moments where the Shamans go second and have 2 Tunnel Trogs into like a weapon with overload. Holy fuck, right? There's really nothing worse than one-drops that should cost at least 2 mana, if not 3. And Blizzard seems to like making them, and I hope the lessons have been learned, but who knows? In Un'Goro, it seems like we don't have too much of that, and maybe some good things will come out of it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review as well, and, you know, despite the smack talk here, I'm pretty excited about the Un'Goro expansion. I hope you guys are as well, and I hope you guys are maybe a bit as impatient as I am for it to come out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.